Hi everyone, it's Beck here from Hello, my name is Beck, popping in today to make a card with you. I'm trying a new series called Make It Monday. Who knows how long it will run, if I can carry it on. So I'm making a card today. Card making is where I originally started. I started as a teenager even making cards. I think even if you want to go back to when I was making cards as a little girl, you'd take a A4 piece of paper, fold it in half, and do a picture on the front. But yeah, I've always been a card maker, so I am showing you my card making today, and probably going forward as well for Make It Monday. It's a great way for me to get my mojo going when I'm not feeling in the mood to make Happy Mail. Making a card is simpler for me because I then don't have to think about goodies that go inside. Making a card, you can either just write a small message inside, or you can do a long letter inside, up to you completely. But yeah, you then don't have to make it and then struggle to think about the person that you're sending it to and what they would like inside the Happy Mail. So yeah, this is then a new phase for me. So I have this beautiful giant stamp from Simon Says Stamp, and I intend to emboss it. So I have a folded piece of paper here. I have been stamping it with a watermark stamp from Versamark, and just using my gold embossing powder here to pour on it. Now I did use the whole pot just because it's such a giant stamp. I'm just tapping that with a pen just to allow the embossing powder to find all of the lines, basically all of the lines that it needs to stick to. So I'm just going to pop that powder back in. Now that powder has been with me since in my 20s. I'm now 38 years old, and so that's how long embossing powder can last. Basically all you're doing is putting a very small amount onto the embossing itself, and then the rest of it goes back into the pot. So I'm sure that there is actually a better embossing powder than the one I currently have, because like I said, this was probably one of the first embossing powders that I ever got, and it was probably when it was quite a new sensation. So they probably have perfected better, like smoother embossing powders since, but this one works just fine for what I'm using it for today. You can see there the gold. Now I was using a paintbrush earlier. You saw me using it to brush away any spare embossing powder that had stuck to the paper. One of the things I should have probably done before actually stamping on the paper was use a anti-static powder or dust, which is you dust the paper with a special anti-static powder, and it stops anything sticking to where you don't want it to, because when you put the Versamark ink down, it then only attracts to that. So just using my watercolors here, got rid of the embossing powder on the right hand side and brought in my palette from, I think it's Prima, and it's the bright colours. So you will see me mixing colours to make them a bit more autumnal. So yeah, I'm trying to make this card a full card. Now I haven't sent it out to anyone, but I'm sure it will go with a Happy Mail when I send it to someone, or it might be a thank you for a Happy Mail. So I hope you guys are all well and taking care. This day that I was doing this on, I couldn't. I had no mojo for Happy Mail, so I thought to myself, I am going to do a card. And by choosing what I was doing as well, it was nice because it was watercolours, something to focus on painting inside the embossing, which is really, really easy to do when it's raised up. It's nice because with watercolours, a lot of the times you can't actually do something next to another watercolour because otherwise they'll merge, whereas the embossing, which is the gold lines, will resist the urge for the watercolours to merge. So I really enjoyed making the colours for this one. This is one of my favourite stamps. You've probably seen me use it before, but maybe not with watercolour. I've probably used it previously with inks, dioxide inks and blended inks. So I'm just using different greens here throughout, sometimes picking up the green if I think it's too strong or too heavy with just tissue, because it's watercolour, it will soak up into the tissue. Yeah, so I might just leave you with some music now to play while I do the watercolour, and I'll pop back in at the end. Thanks, bye. Okay, so just popping back in to finish off the card. So I have this red for the background. It's really luscious red, and so it's just a single card, and then I will pop it onto a white card base, but I wanted to put a colour around the edge of the watercolour paper. Now the watercolour paper has warped. Well, it's actually a mixed media paper. It has warped because of the water in the watercolor, so I am using the red cardstock as a method to straighten it out, and that's why you'll see that there's so much double-sided tape on the back, because I need the actual card to flatten out. So it's not only warped with the watercolor, but it would have warped as well with the heat embossing. So the heat itself would have changed the warp of the actual paper. And you'll see again that happens when I heat emboss the word hello. So I'm just popping that into my mini MISTI here, and popping the word hello down in the corner where I need the greeting. And so popping back with the Versamark ink and popping that down. So I always use my sleeve here to press the plastic screen onto the actual the project, so that the Versamark ink is really quite clear and transparent. So I tend to use my sleeve to rub so that there's no friction. And coming in again with the dry paintbrush to work away any of the embossing powder that shouldn't be there. Now I do use the paintbrush inside the L, and I knock off some of the powder that should be there, but it was quite simple just to bring back more powder and pop that in. So just heat embossing that here, and you'll see what I mean by warping. I end up putting the mini MISTI on the paper as soon as I realise it's warped, because it is still warm, and so popping that down and leaving that there. So taking that off and seeing that it's not warped, and then I pop it onto a white card base, so that helps again with the warping. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. Give this video a like and a comment if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everyone. Lots and lots of crafty love from me, and I'll say goodbye. Bye.